gimbal bed right over there. He took off that way. And I just happened to look over. I saw it. Just laying there like that.
When the bastard first showed up on our farm in 2016, he wasn't anywhere near the top of our hit list. In fact, 2016 was our banner year at the Walnut Valley, and we were in the middle of the golden years hunting Hook and Senior. That first year, Fat Bastard was actually known as Cowhorn due to his swooping main beams. That season, we didn't have a single stand encounter with him. That didn't stop him from being a regular on our trail cameras, though. We got our first and only velvet pictures of the bastard in July of 2017. It wasn't until the rut of that season that we realized which buck Cowhorn actually was. Despite his increased daytime activity as a 3.5-year-old buck, we only had one encounter with Fat Bastard that season. Recognizing his potential, we started filling up the archives with all his trail camera media for future use. Because of our pursuit of Hook and Senior that fall, Cowhorn, at that time no-named, was completely on the back burner. On October 27th, Senior was killed by a neighbor, and on December 9th, Hook was hit by a car, ending the golden years of the Walnut Valley Farms.
Alright guys, well, here he is. Captain Hook in the back of my truck. Just not the way we wanted it to happen.
That season was the only year that the bastard utilized both sides of the farm on a regular basis. The following seasons he became primarily a north side deer. Some videos from early February showed us that he survived the gun season that year. In September of 2018, right before the season started, a new weight point showed up that really caught our eye. What stood out the most to us was his enormous body size. After a few weeks of trail camera pictures, we finally realized it was the no-name buck from the year prior that we called Cowhorn in 2016. From that point on, he was referred to as Fat Bastard. That season, there was only one other deer to compete with him on the hit list, and he was killed on November 14th by a neighbor. The bastard was extremely patternable that season, but he was always one step ahead of us.
Alright guys, doing a quick interview here in between breaks in the rain. It's pretty late since it's been pouring all night on me, so I haven't really had a chance to get the cameras out, but it's Halloween. It's about 6:15, mid-50s. We've got a west wind. I'm on Possum Road for the first time this year. We hung the stand. We actually weren't even going to have a stand here, but we hung the stand because when we were moving through to a different area with the stands, we found hundreds of rubs. I mean, literally hundreds of rubs. This place is tore up. We got a big mock scrape out here in front of us that some of the mature bucks have been hitting. So we're going to do some rattling here in the last hour. See if we can pull some bucks up out of these valleys. We're on this little skinny ridge in between two valleys, swamp on both sides. So the plan is to do some rattling. Hopefully one of the big boys comes into range and we can put an arrow in on him.
A shining example of this occurred on October 31st, Halloween. He was on his feet during daylight hours, but he knew the area I was hunting heavily that year, and he used the edge between the beanfield swamp and ridge to travel east and west through the farm. Even though I was hunting Possum Run heavily, he still utilized it even in daylight hours throughout the rut. It was only a matter of time before I was going to get my first in-person encounter with him.
We've been having some crazy good hunts here. I know Matt had a hunt where he saw 29 deer. The other day I probably saw 15 or so. We've had a lot of hunts in the 10 to 15 deer range, so it's a very active spot. There's been no shortage of deer. We got 3 shooters on this side of the farm. Fat Bastard, who's a big clean 8. He's made one daytime appearance on camera. We've never seen him with our eyes.
After that late season encounter, he went nocturnal.
When you have a rare day off work, even if the weather is absolutely terrible, there's only one thing to do. Shed hunt, baby. That's the one I've been looking for right there.
No way. This is the set that we were real excited about. This is Fat Bastard or Cowhorn. He had 2 names. We've actually changed his name. He was Cowhorn for 2 years, and then he blew up this year and had a real big body early season, so we called him Fat Bastard. We haven't scored him yet. I'm sure he'd scored low 130s, high 120s, but Definitely 4.5 years old. He'll be 5.5 years old next year.
Things got interesting during the summer of 2019. Although we were very excited for Fat Bastard to return that fall, our summer hit list of bucks just kept on growing. On October 22nd, he made his yearly return. The bastard was now fully mature, and no doubt a trophy class animal. Once again, he was far from camera shy. Although with his advanced age, most all of our footage of him was at night. In almost all the trail camera videos, he was displaying his dominance. And he still walked with his signature limp that he obtained sometime late in the season 2018. As fate would have it, in late October, a different buck, the Traveler, took up residence on our farm. On October 30th, I had a brief encounter with the Fat Bastard chasing does on Possum Run. But on November 1st, my season came to an end.
We've had one set of trail camera pictures since like October 16th was the last time we really had him. On the 28th he was here on multiple cameras, and he wasn't even on my radar. I was hunting a different buck. I was hunting Fat Bastard, and wasn't even on my radar.
In a fitting twist of irony, that evening, after I shot the Traveler, Fat Bastard followed a doe right past my entry trail and out into our food plot. He continued to be very active on Possum Run, and Isaac just barely missed his opportunity multiple times. His limp continued to get worse throughout the rut. But even through the late season, he continued to be active on our cams.
All right, guys, it is April 2nd, and I don't know how to explain this one really, but
I finally found the shed I was looking for, at least half of the set. And I don't know how to explain it because we've literally walked by it 100 times, if not more. And not just me, we're talking the entire team, my dad, everybody who's looked on this side of the farm or helped work on this side of the farm has walked within 5 feet of this shed 1,000 times. And me and my dad were out driving, looking at some of our projects we were going to work on. And I just happened to look down in front of me. We were on the General. Just happened to look down in front of me as we were driving through this open grassy area. And there it is. And that's how close we got to running it over.
Oh, that's good, baby. That's good.
There she is. Saw it from the tractor.
And then this is the set that we were looking for all year. This is Fat Bastard, and obviously we have a set from last year as well. Last year they were about 250 yards apart. This year they were probably 150 yards apart. Not in the same general area that we found his sheds from last year, but he did make a pretty good jump, as you can see from his set there. And the interesting part was I spent all spring looking for these, and I found both of them while one I was on the gator and the other one I was on the tractor, so I wasn't even looking for them when I found them. But they were kind of out in the open, and we'd been going around checking all the thick spots, feeding areas, trails, and they ended up just being on travel areas, just sitting in the wide open. But he's the deer that we're most excited for next year. He'll probably be 6.5 years old, fully mature, and he'll be #1 on the hit list.
The stage was now set for a fairy tale ending. We spent more time than ever during the 2020 off-season improving the farm. We spent the entire summer driving around filming velvets in the evening from the road. But unfortunately, the bastard never returned back to the farm. And on October 28th, once again, my season came to a close.
Gosh, he's heavy. I wonder how old he really is. He's got some mass to him, that's for sure.
I oftentimes find myself wondering what happened to him. And we've spent many nights around the campfire or in the deer shop talking about where Fat Bastard may be now. When you follow an individual animal for this many years this closely, you form a bond with them. We like to believe that he was able to find a sanctuary and grow old.